Breaking news. A political earthquake is shaking the foundations of American governance as reports emerge that Republican lawmakers, galvanized by a resurgent wave of conservative momentum, are seriously preparing impeachment proceedings against President Joe Biden. The move, which was once dismissed by some as symbolic posturing, now appears to be gaining real traction, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown between Congress and the White House in the lead-up to the 2024 general election. This unprecedented development is unfolding in the wake of months of escalating political tension, intensified investigations, and mounting accusations. House Republicans, especially those from the hardline conservative wing, are now aggressively pushing forward, arguing that the president's conduct, policy decisions, and alleged interference in federal investigations constitute grounds for impeachment. At the heart of their strategy is a calculated effort to capitalize on widespread conservative outrage over the Department of Justice's handling of investigations into Hunter Biden, the president's son. Republican lawmakers assert that President Biden may have had knowledge of or potentially influenced the outcomes of these investigations, thus violating his oath of office. They claim that this amounts to an abuse of power, and they are using this argument as the cornerstone of their impeachment narrative. Leading the charge is Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a vocal ally of former President Donald Trump and one of the most outspoken advocates for impeachment. Greene has already introduced multiple articles of impeachment against Biden in the past, but this time, her efforts are being met with broader support across the Republican caucus. What was once viewed as a fringe effort is now being echoed by influential GOP figures who previously hesitated to endorse such a divisive maneuver. Even Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who once expressed caution about engaging in impeachment proceedings without substantial evidence, has changed his tone. In recent public comments, Johnson suggested that the House has a constitutional obligation to explore all options, including impeachment, if evidence of misconduct is confirmed. While still stopping short of outright endorsing the move, his language signals a significant shift and offers cover to rank-and-file Republicans who may be weighing whether to support the effort. The impeachment push is not occurring in a vacuum. It's taking place amid a broader strategy to rally Republican voters ahead of the 2024 elections, particularly in battleground states where enthusiasm among the conservative base could be decisive. Some political analysts see this impeachment initiative not merely as a response to alleged misconduct, but as a shrewd political weapon designed to dominate headlines, put the Biden administration on the defensive, and reframe the election narrative. Meanwhile, House committees continue to pursue several lines of inquiry, including alleged financial improprieties linked to Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings. Republicans argue that emails, whistleblower testimonies, and bank records raise serious questions about whether President Biden was aware of or benefited from these dealings. Democrats counter that no direct evidence has linked the president to any wrongdoing and accuse Republicans of using congressional resources for partisan gain. In response to the escalating rhetoric, the White House has remained defiant. Biden administration officials have repeatedly dismissed the allegations as politically motivated and lacking in factual basis. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre stated in a recent briefing, "This is nothing more than a baseless smear campaign designed to distract from the real issues facing American families." Despite the denials, the political damage could already be done. Even if the impeachment attempt ultimately fails in the Senate, which is almost certain given Democratic control, the spectacle of an impeachment inquiry could dominate media coverage for months, erode public trust, and shift attention away from the administration's legislative achievements. Democrats have warned that the GOP is risking constitutional norms by pursuing impeachment as a tool of political retaliation. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called the effort a reckless stunt and warned that it sets a dangerous precedent for future administrations. Nevertheless, the Republican leadership in the House insists they are following the Constitution and fulfilling their duty to hold the executive branch accountable. A key factor in determining how far this effort will go is the political calculation of moderate Republicans. Many are caught between the demands of their conservative constituents and the risk of alienating independent voters who may view impeachment as excessive or politically driven. The tight balance of power in the House means that even a small block of moderates could tip the scales either way. Outside the halls of Congress, conservative media outlets have amplified the impeachment calls, framing them as necessary to restore accountability and justice. Talk radio hosts, right-leaning pundits, and social media influencers have helped turn impeachment into a rallying cry for the GOP base, boosting fundraising efforts and energizing grassroots movements. At the same time, progressive and mainstream media outlets have pushed back, accusing Republicans of hypocrisy and reminding audiences that many of these same lawmakers defended Donald Trump through two impeachments. The contrast in messaging underscores the deep divisions that continue to define American political discourse. Legal experts remain divided over the viability of the Republican impeachment case. Some argue that while the allegations may warrant further investigation, they fall short of the constitutional threshold of high crimes and misdemeanors. Others caution that any impeachment attempt based on thin or partisan evidence could weaken the legitimacy of the process and erode public confidence in democratic institutions. As the situation develops, one thing is certain. This battle will have profound implications not only for the Biden presidency, but for the future of American democracy itself. The prospect of a sitting president facing impeachment in the lead-up to a hotly contested election is unprecedented in modern history and raises complex questions about partisanship, accountability, and the proper use of congressional authority. Behind the scenes, political strategists from both parties are working overtime to assess the potential fallout. For Republicans, the risk is that the impeachment push could backfire, galvanizing Democratic voters and alienating moderates. For Democrats, the challenge is to maintain a unified front while preparing to counter the GOP's messaging with their own narrative of governance, stability, and economic recovery. With the 2024 election cycle already in motion, this impeachment saga is likely to become a central storyline in the months ahead. Campaigns will seize on it to frame their opponents, sway undecided voters, and dominate the national conversation. Town halls, debates, and political ads will all feature this explosive issue as candidates attempt to position themselves on the right side of public opinion. The coming weeks will be critical as key House committees release more findings, hold hearings, and potentially draft articles of impeachment. Every development will be scrutinized, every witness grilled, and every piece of evidence debated in the court of public opinion. Whether or not the impeachment proceeds to a full House vote, and ultimately to the Senate, it's already clear that the political landscape is being reshaped. The stakes are nothing less than the credibility of the presidency, the integrity of Congress, and the direction of the nation in a time of deep political division. As Americans brace for the turbulence ahead, one question looms large. Will this impeachment fight strengthen democratic accountability or deepen the partisan rift that threatens to tear the country apart? To stay informed on this story and all major developments in U.S. politics, make sure to like this video, share it with others, and most importantly, subscribe to Pulse of the World for breaking news, in-depth analysis, and reliable updates on the issues that matter most.